So I've been finding myself playing the RG35XX SP, the Game Boy SP little one. It's not as though the Odin 2 or the Sega Genesis one replaced it. It has its purpose. If I'm traveling, if I'm transient, if I'm only going to be someplace for a moment. And so, I'm inclined to play Game Boy SP games on it too, because it's just very much the style. And so I recently played through all of Super Mario Brothers Advance 4, Super Mario Brothers 3. And I played through Mario Advance, Super Mario Brothers 2. I had a great time with both. I mean, these are classic games, yes. I think that Mario Advance 3, Super Mario Brothers 3, I think that probably, aside from the awkward voice acting, that probably is the best version of that game.
I remember I had the little e-reader that went with it, and I would scan the cards. I even had the cards. I downloaded all the levels I could. But there were some unreleased levels. Like there were some that were like Japan only.
Well, lucky for us, Wii U, remember when they put it out on the Wii U Virtual Console, they released it with all the levels, and it was, people ripped that, and that's the ROM that you can get now if you want. So if you're ever downloading the ROM and you see like Wii U e-reader, like that's the one you want.
That's awesome.
I was really taken aback by Mario Brothers 2. They really changed up that game a lot in the Game Boy Advance one.
Yeah, it has like its own Game Boy Advance aesthetic, and it has like Birdo has voice acting, and it's strange.
You, Mario.
This is as far as you go.
And they're like the hearts are like bigger and weird.
Huge.
Yeah.
And you can squeeze a heart out of just about anything in that game. Yeah, and the Shy Guys are sometimes gigantic. Triclide, was that the 3-headed snake or whatever? That's not in the game. They just do a repeat of Mauser. That took me by surprise.
Oh, interesting. I didn't have that. My cousin did, so I just like played it on his.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, "This is garish," and I think I already had like Super Mario All Stars. I was like, I don't need this version, but
yeah, it's definitely I would say it's a very unfaithful version of the game. Whereas Mario Brothers 3, it's a very faithful adaptation, just with nicer graphics and I think a nicer like kind of screen resolution too, maybe. But it was fun. It was like a ROM hack of Mario 2. It was fun to try out. These are easy games for me at this point. I can blow through these games. So for that reason, I'm not fucking around with warp whistles. I'm playing every single level. I'm 100%ing this thing, right? It's not, those games it's no sweat to 100% them. I don't even think they have, like the Mario Brothers 3 one doesn't even have like coins you can collect to be like, did you get all the coins or whatever? But Mario 3, one of the best games of all time, right? Like right up there with my top 5, top whatever. It might be number 1. Who knows? I thought it'd be fun to nitpick it.
Oh,
I have a couple of complaints about Mario 3 that just when I'm playing it, when I'm not taking it for granted, when I'm thinking about whether or not I'm having fun while playing, right? You ever do like a Mario 64 run and you're like, oh, fuck this level. Like, this is where you have to do a lot of swimming or whatever, and you kind of have, at this point, you've taken for granted. You're like, well, yes, but a run through includes this. And so, but if you were to really think about it, you'd be like, I would probably change this if I could. There's not too many. So fear not. If you're a Mario 3 lover out there, this is just a little bit of fun nitpicking, just some small fun nitpicking. I love this game. Realistically, I would change nothing about it. Okay, well, first of all, it has no save. I think that's the most valid criticism you could ever give about Mario 3. Later releases had saves, and so I think it's pretty much a moot point, right? Because they basically fixed that. So we'll put that completely aside. But it needs a save. Somebody recently, I don't know if it was Super Ant or Jason, somebody defended the non-save, and I was like, oh, this is not.
Yeah, I never thought about it, really. I mean, as a kid, you're just like, oh, yeah, we're starting from the beginning because that's what most games do.
But then what you find is that you're playing those same 5 levels a million times, and you're really not getting to enjoy most of the other games. So you're
using the warp whistle more.
Yeah.
You're not going through the progression of the whole game.
But you're right. The warp whistle does mitigate against it a little bit. I've gotten a lot of pushback about this one. I have a problem with every time I do a run through this game. I don't know if I'm in like world 2, dude, and my inventory's full. And I'm like, I'm not making good effective use of this inventory. I'm finding that I'm at a point where I'm never using the power-ups, but I'm wanting, so you might be like, well, then you just don't need it, right? I'm wanting to covet and to store and preserve the rare power-ups, the hammer that breaks the rock so I can get the special areas, the frog suit, the Hammer Brothers suit, the Tanuki suit. I'm wanting to save these things. Maybe the Cloud. I actually have no purchase with the Cloud because I'm going to play every level. But generally, yeah. And so what happens in the game is if you have all your slots taken up, whatever the last one is just keeps getting overwritten, and you start wasting, rare power-ups.
I don't think I've ever really had that problem. I like to use the items like immediately, so I'm a consumer, which is the opposite of what I am in real life. I'm a pack rat in real life.
A budgeter.
I'm like a budgeter. I save things and maybe it'll come in handy later. But yeah, in Mario, like I'll use that star immediately. I'll use if I'm even if I'm big, I'll use like a leaf or a fire flower. I'll just use it just to get it out of my inventory.
If I was crappier at the game, I would probably like be more inclined. For some reason, I'm always like, oh, I better hang on to that. So anyway, that rubs me the wrong way every time, where I'm like, oh, you're going to make me use a star, aren't you? The levels are a little short. This is not a huge problem, actually. There is that Mario 3 Mix ROM hack that I really like. It's really fucking fun, and it does a lot right, and it augments Mario 3 in certain ways that I really like. Like, for instance, there's a penguin suit in that one. Do you remember this?
Yes.
So you can slide, you can swim like a frog, and you can throw the blue fire pellets. They have really long levels, and I actually think too long, like where I'm like, I'm getting really tired of this level. So there is a third bowl of porridge, and I think at times, like I'm thinking, for instance, of World 1, 2, right? That little green one that you're done with that level in like 2 seconds, and there's almost no obstacles.
They are short, but I don't know. It's like a sprint. Like every single one is a sprint.
Yeah,
and they kind of do that in remember that DLC for New Super Mario Brothers U. It was like new Luigi Brothers or whatever.
Luigi, yeah, it was like a sprint.
And it was a sprint. And I don't know. There's something kind of fun about that. That like shorter levels that you have to rush through. Although you don't have to rush through a Mario 3 level.
Well, and what I find is when I hand the controls over to Gloria and I'm like, try playing this level, she struggles with it. So suddenly it's not so short. She was just running into game overs like it was pathetic. Okay, the game where you line up the 3 slides to get one-ups.
That's horseshit. Yeah.
It's not possible. It's just not possible. It cheats, or it's not, because I use save states to see if I can get it right, and it's like it takes a long fucking time before I get it right.
The third segment spins even faster and has only a 16 frame window for each item, but it has the largest variance of 64, which is essentially one full revolution of the roulette. Which pretty much means that the final segment is purely random and that you have no control over it whatsoever.
In my brain, like I thought in my childhood I could time it, but since adulthood I have never been able to time it.
Not possible. Nitpick. These are all nitpicks. When I go into a toad house and they start explaining to me what a toad house is, I want to be able to start running around. And I want to run right into that chest and go get that chest. I don't want to wait for that fucking dialogue to be done. Slightly frustrating every time. Okay, why Raccoon and Tanuki?
Yeah, they in later Marios they've solved this issue a little bit.
They standardized on Tanuki.
Yeah, to do Tanuki, which I think makes sense.
Actually, in Mario 3D Land, the 3DS one, there are both, aren't there? Actually,
it's you might be right. In one of those, there's both.
Okay, the card game. You know the card game that pops up when you finish enough levels, get enough points, whatever, and it's a memory game where you're like, okay, where was the star, and then match with the star. It's a fun game. I enjoy it. It's a good time. Although it only serves to clutter up my fucking inventory further. The Mario 3 Mix changes it up a little bit, and I think it's a little bit more visceral, a little bit more fun. That's just a matter of like, you just keep flipping them over until you get a Bowser. And when you get a Bowser, you lose. Which is, I think, doesn't Yoshi's Island actually have that very game where it's like...
Yes.
Yeah. So basically it came from Yoshi's Island.
I thought Yoshi's Island's mini games are quite fun.
Yeah.
I mean, one of them's just like scratch offs.
Oh, true.
You pretend you're gambling.
Yoshi's Island's one of those games, in my opinion, that I couldn't tell you why, dude. But playing it on original hardware, that particular game on original hardware does enhance the experience for sure.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why. Oh yeah.
Maybe because it's more impressive that it's like, because it's a really impressive game visually. You're just like, wow, this is actually a great game.
The FX chip, man, it pulls its weight.
And when it's on, some emulated Nintendo Switch Online thing, you're like, yeah, but there's lots of games. I hesitate to say this one. So the Hammer Brothers power up, the Frog power up, these are too rare. I'm not able to take good advantage of these unless I was able to manage them better with my inventory. If I was able to kind of store them up so that when a swimming level came up, it would be ready to go. And I think, the Hammer Brothers suit comes up like once or twice. I mean, it's really quite
they're
rare.
really rare.
And I've heard the argument of like, that's what makes it cool. They're really and it's, for an old school Nintendo game to have those kind of hidden, those covetous things is pretty awesome. Fair enough. Yeah. It does make you think like, it would be fun if there was a version of this game where those were a little bit more plentiful.
Yeah. Cause there's only certain Toad houses that have the Hammer Brothers suit, and there's certain Toad houses that have the Tanuki suit. And it's not even guaranteed you'll get them. They're like randomized.
Or like there's the music box that's supposed to put a Hammer Brother to sleep, like for one turn. Is this that useful? First of all, they're rare. Second of all, they're not that useful, right? So there's a rareness to usefulness balance problem here.
There's the anchor. Remember the anchor?
I wanted to talk about the anchor. So cool idea, which is like you anchor down the Super Ant pointed this out. It didn't occur to me at first. He was like, well, what's so cool about the Doom ship flying around the map is that if you didn't, because the map does not demand that you finish every single level, you can take your own path, but the Doom ship flying around might penalize you for not having finished a level. And I'm like, that is kind of clever. I hear this game's pretty good. But I in Mario, in the advanced version, they added a cool feature that I really, really enjoyed. It was like really fun to play through this, which is some of the levels have like a little boxy coin at the beginning. You hit that and then it challenges you. There's a counter to see if you can get every single coin in the level. And if you do, you get an anchor. But to me, that's like, it's like, hey, I worked really hard for this special item and the anchor is bullshit. In the original game, you get the anchor by like if you get like a certain number of coins, some cool hidden stuff there too.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of in Konami's Tiny Toons, a certain, I don't remember what, but a certain combination of criteria makes it so that like the Darth Duck or Duck Vader shows up. So like a the Star Destroyer shows up and you have to fight like Star Wars related Tiny Toons things. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's stuff that you would like say on the school playground.
Exactly.
And people would be like, really? I've never encountered that. And you're like, yeah, I swear I encountered it.
And then, so that's just about all of them. My final nitpick, I'm not thrilled about World 3 and World 7. I'm just not thrilled about these levels.
So that's the water world and the
grass world.
Oh, it's the pipe.
Pipes.
Pipes. Pipe labyrinth one.
That said, there's good levels in there. Every world has good levels. I think those are a little on the weak side at times.
7. I remember 7 being kind of like my least favorite.
A little bit of a drag.
Pipe maze ones. Yeah,
as a kid, I could hardly get through it. For some reason, it was like too hard for me. There was a couple. I remember there's a castle level in World 8. Towards the end of World 8 that I as a child insisted on having a cloud so I could skip that level.
Yeah, the one in the dark where you're like the circle. And
it's fine. That's an easy level. I don't know why I had so much problem with it.
It's a maze. I can see as a child being confused.
Guards! Give it up. We already flew the Koopa.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.